Real Virginia is proudly produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation. Since 1926, Farm Bureau has been working to preserve Virginia farms and our rural heritage. Visit our website at vafb.com.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce the wonderful local products we enjoy. Brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. How are farmers markets selling their products when social distancing is required? If you'd like to grow some of your own vegetables this year, try container gardening. And it's harvest season already for one Virginia row crop, winter wheat.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay. Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Welcome back to Real Virginia, everyone. We're coming to you this week from Pole Green Market in Hanover County, Virginia. Virginia farmers markets are operating under strict new social distancing guidelines this spring. Norm Hyde reports it's taking some time, but farmers and consumers are adapting.
The Leesburg Farmers Market in Loudoun County is one of hundreds of direct sale outlets that had to suddenly switch gears this spring due to coronavirus concerns. No more wandering from stall to stall, talking with the vendors. No more walking with your family and a dog or two. No more local bands or socializing. Producers like Chris Hatch say many growers felt whiplashed by the new social distancing restrictions, but
we're adapting to the coronavirus. We limit the number of people in the market at any one time. We're trying to get to all of our vendors to get on Lulu so that the customer can order from all of their favorite vendors, and the customer will go around to each of the vendors and pick up their product.
At first, we were really more in a panicked mode and a triaging mode, but now it's calmed down and we're kind of all adapting to the new normal. So it's amazing how quickly that can happen for our farmers, our other vendors, and our customers, and for staff.
When your business model dates back thousands of years, you would expect a few hiccups when switching to online ordering. Fortunately, there are several e-commerce websites for farmers to use, including luluslocalfood.com. It was founded several years ago by Molly Harris to help small growers set up online ordering. Harris is now a project manager for the Virginia Foundation for Agriculture, Innovation, and Rural Sustainability, a nonprofit supported by the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation.
Recently, we have just made it even easier for these producers to sell to multiple markets, and that when they sign in, they have just one inventory list, and they can share that single point of entry inventory list with multiple markets.
Harris says they have helped some Virginia farmers markets switch over to online ordering within 24 hours, but that's less than ideal. Fortunately, it appears their customers are very loyal and willing to work with the new restrictions.
We are pushing for pre-orders, so you have to kind of have a shopping list, have selected your products, hopefully paid for them in advance also, and you're just coming and picking up your pre-bundled package as quickly as possible. So that's a completely different model, but it's working, and that's getting easier every week too.
The latest order comes in on Thursday evening, giving me Friday the opportunity to put together those pre-orders. Last Friday, I was working up until I started about 2 o'clock and didn't finish up until about 7 o'clock.
Brady says they connected all their market vendors to a Lulu's account the third week of April, and they already had 200 online customers signed up. In 2017, the American Farm Bureau Federation honored Lulu's with a national award for helping farmers develop e-commerce platforms. It's set up to help individual farms, community-supported agriculture farms, cooperatives, and food hubs connect with customers online. Harris says in the past, it was about encouraging online customers to connect with remote farmers, but producers and consumers are adapting fast.
The difficulty's on the ground. The difficulty is making the deliveries and setting up these drive-through markets and realizing that you may have 25 vendors, but you can't have 25 vendors in one parking lot spread out the way it needs to be spread out. So therefore, you've got to have pickup maybe multiple days of the week.
They feel safer coming to us than they do entering a grocery store. So even a lot of our high risk customers say they're going out of their way to avoid the grocery store, and they feel safe coming to us. So they're adapting.
It's not just the ordering that has to be done differently. State guidelines require constant sanitizing of storage units and tables, traffic control for the cars driving up to markets, and more staff to help run everything. Harris says that's a big challenge for many markets, which usually only have one paid staff person. But social distancing has also led some new customers to farmers markets.
I have people asking me to direct them to tomatoes or to blueberries, and you can tell they're not usual farmers market customers because those are things that are out of season right now. So it's a moment when we get to teach someone about seasonal eating, about what to expect to find at a farmers market during different moments, and it's been a really great teaching moment too.
While producers and customers miss the old days, they're finding ways to keep their customers safe and continue providing local food to everyone they can.
It's the new normal reality temporarily, we hope. And, you know, we're blessed every day that we can get up and do it again.
Harris says many of the markets she's worked with already expect more customers as the demand for local food continues to grow. And Virginia farmers will be right there doing what they do best. In Loudoun County, Virginia, I'm Norm Hyde. In the past 13 years, the number of Virginia farmers markets has more than tripled from 88 in 2006 to 275 in 2019. The explosive growth of the local foods movement is a major reason, along with a desire of some consumers to buy specialty foods like organic products. According to the Virginia Farmers Market Association, just 13 of those markets support 605 businesses and more than 3,000 employees each growing season. Many of the vendors are women or minority business owners. And selling at a farmer's market is a time-tested way for beginning farmers to get their start.
Hi, today we're going to be talking about growing vegetables in containers from the ground up. Please stay tuned.
Farm Bureau is the insurance provider of choice for farmers. But did you know all Virginians can benefit? In fact, most of our members are not farmers. As a member, you are supporting worthy causes like local Virginia food banks and the Agriculture in the Classroom program. Your $40 membership will easily pay for itself with our many savings options. Farm Bureau is made for Virginians. Get the membership advantage by going to vafb.com or contact your local Farm Bureau.
Many Virginians are experimenting with gardening this year. Chris Mullins with Virginia Cooperative Extension says that container gardening is a great way to start, from the ground up.
Well, hello and welcome. Today we're at Virginia State University's Randolph Farm, and we're going to be talking about growing vegetables in containers. And many of you, as we're moving towards spring and summer, are thinking about growing vegetables. So maybe container gardening would be for you. And most any container can work. We've got a variety of ones here, large ones. We've got some small ones. Now this one right here might not be a great one for most plants, but some of these will. And it really depends on what you're growing. For example, tomatoes are going to require a much larger container to be grown in than something like some of the herbs. So you just have to kind of think about what you want to grow. So once you find your container, we're going to think about really what to put in the container. I would stay away from garden soil from the land. It's going to dry out really quick and harden up and not drain very well. So something like this right here, this media, this is what we call soilless media, and it's got bark and peat moss in it and perlite and a few things like this, and it does a really nice job of staying moist but also staying dry enough for the roots of the plant that's grown in there. And we've got some in this container right here, and this is a very large container. So we're gonna plant right now. We're gonna plant a tomato in here. Now we've got nice tomatoes like you see here that you can find at your local garden center, short, ready to go. But also you can find larger ones sometimes, like this here. And we're gonna put this one in here. This one's already got flowers on it. What we're gonna do is take this out of this container. It's actually also got a stake in it. We'll put that back to help keep it up. And we're gonna kind of time to get dirty. We're gonna kind of open up a hole right there, and we're going to pull it out of the pot. And you can see this has a pretty good root ball. We'll break it just a little bit and move it around a little bit, and we're going to bury this pretty deep in here. There's no leaves under here, so we've taken those leaves off. And we're going to add a little bit more media to this. Around here. I'm kind of going to get this up, not to the very top, because we want to be able to water it and have that water not flow over. We're going to put this little small stake in here right now, just to kind of keep it going for right now. And maybe a sandwich tie just to lightly make it stay on here. Later we might use a cage for this, because tomatoes are going to get really big and bushy, or maybe a series of stakes on 3 sides. But that's going to do very well. We would water this in, have a nice wand and a water breaker, water it in. The nice thing about these containers when you water is that you can water right at the root zone, and you don't have to get the leaves wet. And that makes it nice because you have less disease pressure and problems potentially if you have less water on the leaves. And that's another thing to think about. When you water, you want to make sure that all these pots, have some type of drainage holes in the bottom. You don't want a container that's completely solid, as the water will just stay in there, and most plants don't like to stay wet all the time. So make sure that you've got leach holes in the bottom, drainage holes, or if you don't, use a drill and drill those holes in there. When you think about herbs, maybe a smaller container like this one here with that same type of peat-based mixture might do well. So here's some chocolate mint. Smells pretty good, a lot like chocolate. We're going to put this in here, get a real good contact with the media, and this will probably be a nice size. We'll water this in further. It's always a good idea to water your plants in after you've planted them to make sure there's no air pockets in there. This will be a good size. This container will be perfect for this, and this will grow on the patio nicely. One thing to think about, we talked about watering a lot, this material will dry out a little faster than you might think. So you need to watch it and manage it carefully and make sure that it doesn't dry out. But you also don't want it too wet, so it's that happy medium between too dry and too wet that you have to figure out. As you put this on the patio or on the deck, remember that most of these vegetables we're talking about, whether it's eggplants or peppers, cucumbers, or a lot of these herbs, are going to need about 6 to 8 hours of sunlight each day. So make sure that you can put that somewhere that's going to get that. Now there are some dolly type casters you can put under larger pots and allows you to move the pots around instead of having to pick them up because they're pretty heavy. And so that might allow you to twist these around, turn them around, rotate them, or move them where they're going to have more sun. So overall, if you think about containers, you think about the type of container you're going to grow, the potting media that you're going to use in here, and then the type of plant, if you kind of match all those things together, you can have a very successful container gardening of vegetables. And it's something really nice for your deck, and it's going to be fun for everybody. Well, for more information about growing vegetables in containers, call your local county extension office and talk to a master gardener. For From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins. We'll see you next time.
From the Ground Up is presented with the generous advice and assistance of Virginia Cooperative Extension. Visit their website at ext.vt.edu.
Hi, I'm Chef Tammy Brawley. Coming up, we're going to be smoking some delicious Chesapeake Bay rockfish. Stay tuned.
And now, a sneak peek into a day in the life of a Virginia dairy cow. They get their day started. They have some lunch. Get some exercise. Spend time with their friends. And then end their day with dairy sweet dreams. Real dairy, real life, real delicious.
Rockfish is a special treat from the Chesapeake Bay. Chef Tammy Brawley shows us a unique way to prepare it in the heart of the home.
Hi, I'm Chef Tammy Brawley. We're here with Heart of the Home at Meadow Event Park. And today I'm going to show you guys some delicious Chesapeake Bay rockfish that we're going to use a special pan for. We're actually going to do some stovetop smoking. You don't have to go outside for this. It's not going to smoke up your kitchen like a big heavy-duty gas grill. And I can't wait to show you this. This is going to be fun. We have it's kind of a three-piece pan, so to speak. I've let it warm up a little bit, so I'm going to use a hot pad. It's got a lid that comes on to the top of it. Inside we have a drip tray and a rack. Let's see if I can do this without killing myself. Now, on the bottom of this pan, you want to put sawdust chips. Very important that you do not use the big chips that you find in the grill stores and things like that. These are actually sawdust. They come in various flavors. I tend to use the lighter woods for my fishes, the heavier woods for my meat and such. This we're going to use today is maple. As you can see, it's sawdust chips. And into the middle of the pan, you want probably about 2 tablespoons or so. You kind of want to center it over your burner, all right? Now, it's going to start smoking right away because I was warming this pan up, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. Now we're going to come back with our drip tray, and then we have the rack. You're going to use some nonstick spray. You want to spray that rack. That's strictly because you don't want the fish to stick, okay? And then we've got the rockfish fillets. You can smoke just about anything. I have smoked salmon many, many times. I've even smoked tomatoes in the summer. They make a delicious arrabbiata sauce. So we've got some rockfish fillets. Notice that the skin is off. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. We're going to put our fillets on the rack. And then we're going to close our lid. The lid is grooved because you want it to seal. And you want to turn your burner on pretty much high at this point. Once we start to see it wisping out, then we're going to close the lid completely, turn our heat down, and we're going to let it go about 5 or 10 minutes. One thing I want to talk about is you notice that those were fillets. They did not have skin on them. You want to take the skin off before you actually smoke the fillet. Skin produces a little bit of oil. If we were roasting the fish or sauteing it in a pan, I would leave the skin on because it keeps the fish intact. But take the skin off before you do the smoking so it doesn't produce an oily flavor or a scent. As you can see, it's starting to smoke now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to close this lid completely. I'm going to turn my heat down to about a medium or so. And we're going to let it go for about 5 to 10 minutes. Through the magic of television, you won't have to wait that long, and we'll be right back. Thanks. All right, so our stovetop smoker has been going for about 10 minutes or so. It's something you always want to keep in mind in any sort of cooking, whether it's stovetop smoking or sauteing or frying. Something bigger is always going to take longer to cook. These fillets were a little thinner than a typical piece of salmon, which is a lot of times what I smoke. So this only took about 10 minutes. So we're going to pop the lid off. There's that lovely smoke. Oh my gosh, if y'all could smell it. And these rockfish fillets actually were swimming in the Chesapeake Bay just a few days ago. The best way to pick fish is to go to a fishmonger. I've got a local guy here in Richmond, Tuckahoe Seafood, but any sort of fishmonger that you trust, go to him. He knows his stuff and he can tell you where the fish came from. These, as I said, were swimming in the Chesapeake Bay just a few days ago. Absolutely delicious. And we're going to pop them on our serving tray here. Now, what I like to finish these with is a specialty salt that I have. This is a smoked sea salt. This is actually a combination of 2. It's applewood smoked sea salt and Chardonnay marinated smoked sea salt. These came from a franchise operation called Spice and Tea Exchange. They're found all up and down in the United States. I mix them together, and when I smoke meats like this, or fish particularly, I like to pull a little bit out and top it with a little bit of smoked sea salt. I can't wait till you guys try this recipe. So there we have it, some delicious smoked rockfish from our gorgeous Chesapeake Bay right here in Virginia. Looking really forward to tasting this. I didn't get a fork, so I guess I'll have to wait. Thank you, and I look forward to being with y'all again.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com, as well as on Chef Tammy Brawley's website, greenkitchenrichmond.com.
Humans have been smoking meat and fish since prehistoric times, both to add flavor and to preserve it longer. The most popular form of smoked meat in America today is barbecued lamb, pork, poultry, and beef, but fish is also on the menu. Close to 80% of all the fish caught in Africa is cooked slowly over smoky fires to add flavor. Perhaps the most popular smoked meat is bacon, typically made from pork. And don't forget Virginia or country-style ham. In addition to being cured in salt, those hams are also smoked before being hung to cure for a year or longer.
Some Virginia farmers don't wait until fall to roll out their combines. Burke Moeller reports that late spring is harvest season for winter wheat, a small but important crop in the Old Dominion.
The sound of wheat stalks blowing in the wind is a familiar one for Virginia grain farmers. Growing winter wheat has been the answer for many generations of producers looking for a profitable crop to grow outside the traditional summer growing season. Farmers may be finishing spring planting right now for many of their crops, but these fields in Northumberland County are just about ripe.
This is a winter wheat, meaning that we plant it in the fall. It goes through the winter as a smaller stage, and then here in the springtime, you'll see here that this wheat has started to head out. And then here, come about June, we'll harvest it.
Winter wheat is grown on about 230,000 acres in Virginia each year. While it's raised mostly in eastern counties, some wheat is grown in northern and southside Virginia, as well as in the Shenandoah Valley. Many farmers near the Chesapeake Bay are on a 3-crop rotation: corn and soybean planting earlier in the year, and wheat in October. With a statewide value of more than $1.6 million, wheat may not be as valuable as other row crops, but farmers here say it has an important role.
Wheat is a crop that gets us through so we can double crop, which allows us to grow 2 crops in 1 year, which helps us out money-wise. What we love about wheat here in the Northern Neck is that it mines your nutrients. It keeps stuff from leaching into a Chesapeake Bay and brings it and leaves it on top of the soil where we can reuse it again. And it's a good crop for a bean crop. It breaks the hard pans up 4 or 5 foot down, makes the soil nice and loose so our beans can grow real well behind them. We have very good luck growing beans behind wheat and barley.
Wheat is an important crop in Northumberland County, but it's not ideal for bread because of the gluten count. However, wheat grown in eastern Virginia is excellent for other household items such as crackers, donuts, and other baking goods. But those tasty treats are produced by manufacturers who get their wheat from flour mills, which take wheat from the Northern Neck and other places and create a custom flour blend for a bakery. That's why Virginia farmers take pains to produce a top quality crop.
Soft red winter wheat is a very important part of a crop plan for an Eastern Virginia farmer. They appreciate having that wheat, which is a small grain, in the crop rotation. Our farmers do practice sound agronomy at all levels of their business, and part of that sound agronomy is rotating summer to summer corn to soybeans, and then every other winter having a wheat crop in between those crops.
Alan Welsh has been recognized as the top wheat producer in the state for the last several years. He says there's no secret, he just works on a productive piece of land and brings several generations of knowledge to the task.
We've been raising wheat probably 4 or 5 generations back. My father, I can remember him telling me stories of going up to Richmond on Hull Street and sitting in line up there. At that time they were delivering or selling wheat in bags, not in bulk. So we've been raising wheat for a long time.
That tradition is expected to continue this year as Virginia wheat farmers are still farming and hopefully bringing in a good harvest in 2020. In Northumberland County, I'm Burke Moeller reporting.
We're so glad you could join us this week to celebrate all the bounty Virginia has to offer. From the kitchen to your home and garden to our beautiful wide open spaces, we are proud to say that this is Real Virginia. For everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a great week.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay.